Welcome on into the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another season preview coming up today. It's the GWS Giants 2026 season preview. We're going through every single club with a season preview alphabetically, so this is officially the halfway mark. There's 8 already on there: Adelaide, Brisbane, Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon, Fremantle, Geelong, Gold Coast, now GWS. All the other teams coming up over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know all about GWS Giants this year. What are your thoughts? How will they go? Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it. We do plenty of football content here at All Aussie Rules. We do a podcast twice a week as of this week. It's once a week before this week. Plenty of podcast episodes already out this preseason, so go check them out. We also have plenty of social media stuff, so go check all of that out as well. All Aussie Rules everywhere. Give them all a follow. Let me know what you think. Let's jump into it. GWS Giants, what can we expect for season 2026? First off, we check back to last year and how they went in season 2025. Home and away season, they finished 5th on the ladder, just missing top 4 spot. Overall finish after finals 7th. They did get bundled out at home against Hawthorn in a seesawing match where Hawthorn came out of the blocks and dominated early. GWS had an insane third and early fourth quarter comeback, led by Josh Kelly off the subs bench, and then Hawthorn managed to wrestle it back late and win in the end by about 17 points. 16 wins, 8 losses from their 24 matches in season 2025, which is a pretty good win-loss record, let's be fair. Points for and against, 91.84, which is the 5th best in the AFL, and around mid-pack for defence, conceding almost 81 points per game. So defensively, maybe not their best year. Offensively, pretty solid. We'll get into the full list and like depth charts and stuff shortly, and talk about positions and stuff. But yeah, that pretty much sums up last year. Last 5 seasons, a couple big runs at it and a couple not so. So 2021 finished 7th. They did win a elimination final against Sydney down in Tassie. That was obviously COVID times. 12 wins, 11 losses and a draw that year. They fell right off the perch in 2022. Winning 6 games, losing 16, finishing 16th on the ladder. They bounced back in 2023, finishing 7th with 15 and 11, and then made a really good run in finals, losing a prelim final to Collingwood in a nail biter. It was less than a kick in it, so they were so close to a grand final 2023. 2024, they finished 4th on the ladder, 15 and 10, but got bundled out in straight sets, lost to Sydney in the qualifying final, and then they got done by Brisbane after being 40 points up in the semi-final. Moving on to last year, we just explained what happened. 16 wins, 8 losses, 5th into 7th. So that's their history. 4 finals campaigns, only the 1 prelim final, which was obviously 2023. They're thereabouts. It's pretty consistent. Can they take that next step? We will see, but that's the tale of the tape over the last few years for the Giants. Ins and outs for the Giants going into 2026. So in the big one's probably Clayton Oliver, comes in traded across from Melbourne. Stacks up this midfield even better. They're strong in that area. They get stronger, so that's a good little add for them. They're strong all around the ground, let's be fair. Jaden Laverde joins as a SSP player from Essendon. I think he gets games, to be honest. Interesting signing. We'll see how he plays, how he fits in. Oscar Taylor was a pick number 15 in the draft. The other national draft player they got was Finnegan Davis at pick 51. And then in the rookie draft, they picked up Riley Hamilton. They did actually use another rookie draft and another national draft pick to redraft players that they'd delisted. Out isn't too bad for them this year, to be honest. Jacob Ware, he goes as a free agent to Port Adelaide. Callum Ward and Lockie Keefe retired. Heartbreaking finish to Callum Ward's season, mid-year last year. And then 2 players delisted, Wade Dirks and Josh Fahey. So I think overall, that's a pretty solid off season. I think Clayton Oliver in for Jacob Ware basically is a net positive. If Clayton Oliver can get even close to his best, I don't think we'll ever see 2021 form from Clayton Oliver again. But if we can get somewhere near that, GWS would be absolutely stoked. Him and the fellow midfielders at GWS are gonna have a ball of a time, I reckon. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. They're obviously a team that loves to run, carry. Clayton Oliver in the middle. It's just going to add a little bit more to their game too, I think. So we'll see. But it looks like a good signing to me. Moving into the depth chart, if you're new around here, we'll give a quick little rundown on how this works out. What the numbers mean, we do rate every single player, every single game on their position and their a rating based on their stats. End of season averages are there for all the players that did play last year. And then they're into rankings for each position. From that, we put a rating on a class description on them. So the elite, which are the purple ones, they're the top 10% of every position. Top class is from 10 to 25%. They're the blue ones. Green is above average, so that's 25 to 40%. Yellow is average, which is 40 to 60%. Orange is from 60 to 100%, which is your below average players. Red means they did not play in season 2025. And pink is the rookies, so they're anyone that was not on an AFL list last year and so obviously either picked up in the national or rookie drafts. Yeah, and that's pretty much a little explanation on it all. Let's now go into the players. First of all, general defenders is where we'll start. This is a position that GWS has absolutely been stacked in for the last 5 years. And it keeps getting stronger and potentially has again because they did draft Oscar Taylor and Finnegan Davis, who are both probably running backmen in their future. So will they be able to break into this team? It's hard to see it happening just yet, but we'll see what happens. Lachie Whitfield was rated elite. He ended up ranked 7th in as a general defender. Lachie Ash spent a fair chunk of the season rated very similar to Whitfield, but Whitfield's end was slightly better than Lachie Ash's. Harry Himmelberg also had a really good season. So 3 people in the top class or above. Chuck in Connor Iden, who I think is one of the most underrated one-on-one defenders in the competition. They just stacked down the back line. They got, in my opinion, just those names. Those 4, chuck in Sam Taylor and Jack Buckley, is the best back 6 in the competition in my eyes. They can do it all. They've got the defenders, the tall defenders that take out your key forwards. They've got Connor Iden, who takes out the opposition's best medium-sized forward. And then you've got Whitfield, Ash, and even Himmelberg as your ball users. It's just a really good back 6. So when they're fit, healthy, they're really, really good. After Iden, it's Connor Stone, Joe Fonte. Neither of them rated too well last year. I don't know if they're quite good enough to be in this GWS back 6 if it's fit and healthy, but we'll see what happens. Harrison Oliver didn't play. And then, as I mentioned, Taylor and Davis were both drafted. At the moment, I don't see them breaking in. It doesn't mean they won't this year, but this backline is pretty solid. Key defender-wise, Sam Taylor was number 1 ranked last year in the competition. He's an absolute gun. He's been my highest... Well, I thought he's the best key defender in the competition for the last couple years. Obviously, 2024 was... His rating was a bit down. He did have multiple injuries. He did miss a lot of weeks, but he still showed last year that he is up to that level. Jack Buckley, he was down a little bit on his best season last year. His 2024 was much better than last year, but still really highly rated, 21st overall, above average category. You certainly can see him not just being top class, he is good enough to be an elite range key defender as well. Jaden Laverde, I think him and Lee Kalia will be playing for that final third. If they're playing 3 talls down back, they'll be both fighting for that. Laverde did actually rate higher than Lee Kalia. I don't know which way they're going to go as their best 23. We'll see. It certainly might change throughout the season based on fitness and stuff as well. But yeah, those two not too far apart in my eyes. Moving into the forward line, they've got a lot of players in this area too. A lot of general forwards. So starting at the top, they're stacked. Toby Green, ranked number 4 last season. He's been ranked in the top 6 general forwards for the last 4 years, I believe. He's an absolute gun, and doesn't really show many signs of slowing down. He had a couple quiet games, but he just keeps bouncing back week after week. Brent Daniels was unranked, didn't play enough games, but we know what he's capable of. His rating in those games that he did play was very good, top class levels, even if he didn't play much of the season. Darcy Jones, really good year from him, ranked 24th. Stringer was ranked number 30. Harvey Thomas was ranked 35. Callum Brown, 48. So they've got plenty of options. They also can rotate through the wing position, some of them even into the centre square. At a needs basis, kind of. Cody Angrove, James Leake, and Delana, all unranked, so didn't play at least 5 games or more than 5 games last season. All of their ratings quite low. And then you got 3 players that did not play. Wardius, Hannaford, and Gothard all did not play. So plenty of players in that list. Obviously, all of the top 6 there, I could see playing most of the season. I think the rest are all depth players. Moving on to the key forwards, we've got Jesse Hogan, who went from number 1 in season 2024 down to number 9 as a key forward last year. In my eyes, he's the best one-on-one key forward in the competition. You kick it to him in a one-on-one contest, and he's not going to lose them. He just wins. He is an absolute gun. Obviously had a few injury concerns last year. Obviously broken thumb, I think it was, or finger, early season before the season even started. Missed the first couple games. Absolute stellar season from him still. Not quite as high as season 2024, but probably still his second best career in the AFL so far. And then you've got Riccardi and Cadman, who both will play every week just about. Cadman as your second tall forward, and then Jake Riccardi as your third tall forward, who rotates through the ruck. And does a pretty good job of that, as well as kicking goals. Cadman obviously was a number 1 draft pick a few years back. He's going to be an absolute gun. He showed some really good signs last year that he's really starting to come on. So I think we'll see a really big season from Aaron Cadman this year. And then Max Grozicki is your backup, your depth player that maybe plays a handful of games throughout the year, depending on injuries and fitness and that sort of stuff. But overall, I think those top 3 are pretty much going to play most of the season. Moving on to the midfield. Starting with our inside mids, as we said, Clayton Oliver joins the cause here, which just stacks this up a little bit more. Tom Green up the top there was ranked 10 as an inside midfielder last year. Outstanding season. He consistently averages around about 30 disposals a season. His score involvements were up last year. His clearance work is good. The one thing he needs to possibly work on is goal kicking. He doesn't kick a lot of goals, but there's always room for that improvement. Finn Callaghan, he's more of the attacking midfielder that will kick the goals. Had his best season to date last year. Started outstanding in opening round and just continued it on. Really good season from him. Clayton Oliver, they'll be wanting a little bit more than what he gave Melbourne last season, I think. If he can get back into that above average category, those 3 as a tandem, will just be absolutely huge. Chuck in Josh Kelly, who rated down a little bit last year, but showed how good he can be in that elimination final when he came on as the sub in the second half and played he was best on ground in the second half by a mile. So I think he might have even rated as GWS's best or second best player, and he only played half the game. So he's an absolute star still, and he will be playing obviously all the time as well, just about, provided he's fit. Harry Raustein, Toby Bedford, and Stephen Caniglio, all depth players. They'll rotate through, get plenty of workload into them as depth players. 5 on the bench, they'll probably play 1 of those 3 every week. Toby Bedford maybe a bit more. Jake, he did not play last year, so he's just a depth player at the moment till we see a bit more of him. Midfield-wise, outside midfield-wise, Ryan Angwin, was ranked 8th last year as an outside mid. Had a really, really good season. His best season so far, shows some really good signs. If he can have a season like that again, that would be huge. Xavier O'Halloran, more of a not quite as effective. Probably still his best season to date. I think that's probably close to his peak. He might be able to get a little bit more. Maybe into that above average category would be huge. Average or above average would be a good improvement. Toby McMullen was ranked 46th. And then in the ruck, I think Kieran Briggs is the big one to move up last year. He didn't have the best season, ranked 17th overall. Had concussion in opening round, sorry. Long season for him. I think we'll see more from him in 2026. Potentially new ruck rules help him a little bit. We'll see if that is the case, but Kieran Briggs may be a big improver this year. Nicholas Madden is your backup ruckman, and then Logan Smith, probably third tier, with Riley Hamilton, who was picked up in the rookie draft. I wouldn't expect to see any of him in 2026. On to the best 23. This was done by me a few weeks ago. I don't think anything's changed in my mind just yet, but there are a couple that I'm still toing and froing on because they do have a lot of depth, GWS. There's no doubt about that. They do have a lot of depth. So forward line, we've got Darcy Jones, Jesse Hogan, Aaron Cadman. Really good. Half forward line, we've got Toby Green, Jake Riccardi, and Brent Daniels. Centre line, we've got Xavier O'Halloran and Ryan Angwin on the wings, with Clayton Oliver in the middle. And then ruck, Kieran Briggs, Tom Green, and Finn Callaghan. Half back line, Lockie Whitfield, Sam Taylor, Lockie Ash. And then full back line, I've got Laverde in there over Lee Kalia at the moment. We'll see if that's how I stay. Jack Buckley and Connor Iden. And then on the bench, we've got Harry Himmelberg. I've gone Cullen Brown over Stringer. I think they'll both play plenty of games if they're fit, and it'll basically be whoever's performing better probably stays in the team. Josh Kelly, Toby Bedford, and Harry Rouston, round out the interchange. It's a really good list, and the next 6 in line that I have shows how good that 23 is, because Legalia, Joe Fonte, Jake Stringer, Harvey Thomas, Stephen Caniglio, and Cody Angrove all miss out on a spot in the best 23 there. So all 6 of them potentially could be in their best 23. All 6 of them would likely be in most other teams' best 23s. So it is how it is. They've got quite a bit of depth. They're really strong. They're going to be interesting to see how they play throughout 2026. Final thing to round out this episode is just a little look at a fixture analysis for the Giants. 11 home games, 11 away games, pretty standard. 1 neutral game. Like Gold Coast, they travelled all states and territories except for 1 in season 2026. They have 9 in New South Wales, 3 in ACT. Obviously, they're their home games, plus 1 away game to a Sydney at the SCG. And then they've got 5 trips to Victoria, 3 to South Australia, 1 to WA, 1 to Queensland, and 1 to the Northern Territory. They have buys in rounds 4 and 13. The teams they play twice, they've got a pretty good run of it, to be honest. Their schedule looks very tasty for them. Hawthorn, who finished 4th last year, and Gold Coast, who finished 6th last year, are the only 2 teams that played finals last year that they have twice. The concerning thing when we say draw difficulties only 16th is the fact that the next 2 teams, Sydney and St Kilda, 10th and 12th last year, are probably the 2 teams that are most expected to improve the most from last year to this year in the AFL, just about, I would say. Sydney obviously had a down year with injuries last year. St Kilda recruited very heavily, sprouted to be big improvers this year. So we'll see if that plays out. And then I've got 2 easier matchups as well. Essendon, who finished 15th last year, and West Coast, who finished 18th last year. Draw difficulty comes out at 16th. If you haven't already, I did a podcast episode late last year when the fixture was released, explaining how we did that, how we worked it out. It goes on who you play, where you play them, and a whole bunch of things. It ends up being that they've got the 16th. hardest, which means the third easiest, the only teams with an easier draw, according to these numbers, are Port Adelaide, number 1, and Richmond, number 2. And then you look at teams that finished similar spots to them on the ladder last year. Gold Coast, they came out at number 1, hardest drawer. Who else was around about them? Collingwood finished 4th, so they were just above them. Theirs is 6th. And then if you count the other team that got knocked out in first week of the finals last year, which was Fremantle, they have a similar draw to GWS. They're at 15th. So that pretty much sums up GWS. I think they're in for an interesting year. I've been sprouting that maybe this is a down year for them, but their list is just really strong still, so it's hard to place them. They're probably the team in the AFL that I've struggled the most with last year as well to place exactly where they'll come. At the moment, I've got them actually missing the top 8, making maybe the play-in in that 10 or 11 spot. That's probably the team that I'm going to get most wrong. They'll probably finish first or second on the ladder. They still have a lot of talent. Clayton Oliver's going to be interesting to see how he gels with this midfield. It's going to be an interesting season for the Giants. Make sure you jump in the comments. Let me know where you think they'll finish. Make sure you come back and check out the rest of the season previews that are all going out through the month of February. We've got plenty of content here on YouTube, but also elsewhere. The podcast goes out here twice a week, and also Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We do plenty of social media content. We're doing our top 50 players countdown to the start of the season. We're at day 20 when this gets released, I think. So that's crazy. Go check that out. Plenty of content all over the place. Go check it all out. All Aussie Rules everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that one. Blue Sky. Go check them all out. I appreciate you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name's John. This was another season preview on the All Aussie Rules Football Podcast. We'll be back no, not tomorrow, the next day with the next team, which is Hawthorn Hawks. And I'll catch yous